Good Vach, Simon Kuftzadi, Ches,
Tesvav.
Tesvav and Tezayin, and then we'll do the next simon. So Balayla, but this is the end of taking the mace out of the house. So Balayla ain't on Tziduk Kadin. At night we don't say Tziduk Kadin, Veloy Kaddish, and not Kaddish Vesakvaros. So why? Because the at night is more of a din. So Mamela, we try not to do any. Same reason why we don't say Tachnun after Tseis. Right? Fine. Design Altinik Pakas V'Shashim Yayin Ein Oimrim Tziduk Adin on a child that dies less than 30 days. Is considered as if the baby was never born. So Mamela, there's no Tziduk Adin on that. Okay, Simin Kuf Tzadi Test Dini Akfura Ubeis Akvaras Uvay Yud Zayin Sifim. So Kfura Amura Aleph Kfura Amura V'Torah. What is Kfura? Ushayit in a mace bekarka mamish. You have to put the mace in the ground itself, right? Meaning you want the body to be touching the ground, which is the big issue that we have in America where they don't allow that. All right, and of course, no cremation and that type of thing. In many places, the minig is to put the mace into the aron, into a wood coffin. Since it's not possible there won't be holes, the sagi and then that's enough. So that's what some do. They put holes in the bottom. And there are places like in Eretz Yisrael, they bury it out in Aron. They put it straight on the ground. But on the sides they put two dafim, two pieces of wood. And on that they put another daf. People offer al kufa mace, so that the offer doesn't fall straight on the mace. That is a bizayin. So Eretz Yisrael, they put rocks. They put these long rocks on top of the mace, and then they pour the dirt. And then there are places that bury other mason, like that's what I know, which is interesting. Because where do you see that we're Gerdas Bechirim? Shem Chashuvim Eisen Aron, then they do an Aron. When you do make an Aron, you should make sure with the leftover pieces of wood, you shouldn't use them for anything. The only thing you should use it for is to put wood to heat up the pots that they're heating up the water for the tahara. People that have good hearts that they feed aniyim on their table. They should make an aron from the shulchan, and it should go in front of you tzidkecha. So that's what Rabbi Freifeld. It was chaluk whether he meant it as a joke or not, but they did bury part of his table with him, even though from here the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch was saying that you're supposed to actually build the aron out of it. There were some gedolim, I think, that they built the aron out of the standards that they learned on. Right? Fine.
Reb Chaim did that.
Did they? Yeah.
He did that. They took his stender and they made it part of his harness.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, interesting. Okay, so base manichin es hameis al gaba v'panav lamala. You put the mace on its back and its face up. Umisha yeshli afar Eretz Yisrael. And if you have some different Eretz Yisrael, mafazim k'tzas tachta v'k'tzas olav, you put a little below, a little above. Al shem v'chiper ad masei amoy. V'ikar losis al habris kodesh. The ikar is to put it on the makom of the bris. V'gam al piv, val enov al kapav al its mouth, eyes, and palms. They do this. I think they do. Many Chevra Kadishis do this now. I don't know how they get all that dirt from Eretz Yisrael, but that's what they do. Gimel. Ain kaivenes a mason zayitzel zeh. You're not supposed to bury mason one next to each other. Elam ken hoya doifin a mafsik b'neim, unless there's a wall of dirt between them. Yachalam v'nei atzmai, that would be able to stand by itself. Meaning you need enough thickness that the wall is not going to collapse in between the mason. At the minimum 6 etzbais. There should be at least 6 tfachim. But a man and a woman are allowed to be buried with their kids, or with their grandchildren. Any cotton that the person sleeps with, meaning sometimes you have the parents sleep with the kids in the bed, can be buried with him when they're dead. But an older son with the father, and even with ketanim, dafka likvar shneim b'vasachas. It's only to bury them at the same time. One of them is already buried. Also likvar etzle ha'acher, then you're not allowed to bury the other one. Meaning, unfortunately, if there's multiple deaths, then you could bury together, but not if they're buried at different times. Dalek kvar mavur to tinek shemes, that a tinek that died malanoy say etzle kivrei v'korin lo yashem. You do a bris milah next to the kaver, and you give him a name. A girl also, you give the name. You need to warn the people that are burying about this, right? Meaning, I guess you have to let them know that you're going to be doing this process. Hey, ain't nice and you don't put 2 aron, one on top of the other. Unless you have 6 tvachim in between. This is a big hot button topic in Eretz Yisrael. They're starting to bury, because there's no room, they're starting to bury mason one on top of the other. So the question is, what are they putting in between, and et cetera, et cetera. Vav ein kairim rasha etzel tzaddik. We do not bury a rasha next to a tzaddik. Shenemar al tesla im chatoyim nashi. Vafilu rasha chomer etzel rasha kal ein kairim. Even a big rasha next to not such a big rasha. I don't know who gives the tests out for that. You don't do. You don't bury even a regular tzaddik next to major tzaddikim. This is where the concept of having a chalkas rabbanim comes from. Like you put the chashuvim in one section. 2 people that hate each other shouldn't bury them together. Because even when they're dead, they're not going to have menucha with each other. The minig is you do not hand the shovel or the pick from hand to hand. You throw it from your hand and then he picks it. Meaning, and that was anything having to do with burial. We don't do that. Even the washing cups. After, meaning the washing cups after the burial. After they put the mace in the kever, they turn over the mita 3 times. All right. Ki mita begematria din, because the word mita is the gematria din. The Ramash yisabach din l'rachamim, that they should turn over the din to rachamim v'hesped lemochel, and the machal, not lemachal, to dancing. Zeichel ledavar afachtem hispedi lemachal li. They flipped my hesped to dancing. And when a day they don't say tachlan, we don't do this. Test and yesh yosem a base of kvaros. So there's a yosem in the base of kvaros. All right, azay la'achar kvura, and then after the kvura in yom, if it's day, marchikim l'chol hapachas dalet amas from the kvarim, you go 4 amas away from the kvarim. Va'imrim es hamizmar lam natseach shimu zois. V'yom she'enem tachlan oimrim lichtam l'David. V'hayosem oimrim kadosh tu asi l'schadasa, which is the same kaddish as a siyum. V'akol oimrim imay advi karei. Obviously, that's for Nusach Sfard. Right, the call says it with him. I never saw anybody do this. Some say the kaddish before the kvura, lachar tziduk gadin, after tziduk gadin. Some, and there's mekaymis that they also don't say tziduk gadin ad lachar kvura until after the kvura. So there are basically 3 different customs as to how to deal with saying the kaddish after a kvura or during a kvura. Okay, we will stop over there. Everybody should have a fine night, a good Woch, and a good Jahr.